You record a quick video, just a normal one. Maybe for work, maybe for Instagram, maybe just a voice note that turned into a video by accident. And then you hit play, and something inside you just recoils. That's not how I look. That's not how I sound. Why do I look like that? Why does my voice sound so weird? Who told this person they could talk in public? You didn't do anything wrong. You just watched yourself exist for 11 seconds. And somehow that was enough to make you want to throw your phone into the ocean. This is one of the most universal reactions in the modern world. Almost nobody is exempt from it. Not actors, not news anchors, not people who post videos every single day for a living. Even they will tell you, off camera, that the first few seconds of watching themselves back still make them flinch a little. So what is actually happening in your brain in that moment? Why does a video of your own face and your own voice feel like looking at a stranger wearing your skin? Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the face. Because the face problem starts with something you'd never expect. Your mirror. Every single day, multiple times a day, you look into a mirror. And a mirror does something sneaky. It flips your face left to right. The version of your face you have memorized, the one your brain has built into your sense of self, is not your actual face. It's the mirrored version of it. Now here's where it gets interesting. Psychologists call this the mirror exposure effect, first studied properly by Robert Zajonc in the 1960s. The basic finding is simple. The more you're exposed to something, the more you tend to like it. Familiarity breeds preference. Your brain literally prefers things it has seen more often, all else being equal. And you have seen your mirrored face thousands upon thousands of times. So your brain has quietly decided that this flipped version is the correct one. It's not more attractive objectively. It's just more familiar, and familiar reads as comfortable. A video camera does not flip your face. It shows the version everyone else sees when they look at you directly. The version on your driver's license photo. The version in every group photo you've ever hated for no clear reason. That face is objectively, mathematically your actual face. But to your brain, it feels off. Slightly wrong. Slightly foreign. This has been tested directly. Researchers have shown people both their mirror image and their true, non-flipped photograph, and asked which one they preferred. Most people pick the mirror version. Their close friends, when shown the same two images, usually pick the true one, because that's the version they actually see when you're standing in front of them. You're not ugly on camera. You're just unfamiliar to yourself on camera. That's a completely different problem, and it's one nobody warns you about. Now let's talk about the voice, because this one is even stranger and honestly a little bit wild once you understand the mechanics. When you speak, you hear your own voice through two separate paths at the same time. One path is through the air, out of your mouth, into your ear, same as everyone else hears you. The other path is through bone conduction. Sound vibrations travel directly through the bones and tissue of your skull straight into your inner ear. That second path, the bone conduction one, tends to emphasize lower frequencies. It makes your voice sound deeper and richer to you than it actually is to the outside world. So the voice you think is yours has been quietly auto-tuned by your own skeleton for your entire life. When you hear a recording, you're only getting the air-conducted version. No bone conduction bonus bass. Just the raw, thinner, higher version that everyone else has been hearing all along. Your brain flags it immediately as wrong, because it doesn't match the internal soundtrack you've been listening to since you first learned to talk. There's actually a name for the discomfort this causes. It's sometimes called voice confrontation, and studies using EEG have shown that people's brains process the sound of their own recorded voice differently than they process a stranger's voice, with measurable spikes in activity linked to self-monitoring and even mild threat response. Your brain isn't just confused, it's mildly alarmed. So now you understand the mechanics. Wrong face, wrong voice, both technically correct, both feeling deeply incorrect. But here's the part that goes deeper than biology. This is where psychology really takes over. There's a concept called self-perception theory, and a related, older idea from sociologist Charles Cooley called the looking-glass self. The basic argument is that we don't actually know ourselves directly. We build our sense of self partly by imagining how other people see us. Your identity is constructed, in part, by guessing at other people's perspective of you. The problem is, you never actually get to check that guess. You never get to stand outside your own body and watch yourself the way other people watch you, in real time, in 3 dimensions, mid-sentence, mid-gesture. Until video. Video is the closest thing humans have ever had to a genuine outside view of themselves. And that outside view often does not match the internal one. In your head, you probably picture yourself moving smoothly, speaking with reasonable confidence, maybe even looking kind of composed. Then the video shows you fidgeting, using a filler word every 4 seconds, and pulling a face you didn't know you owned. This creates something psychologists refer to as increased objective self-awareness, a term from researchers Shelley Duvall and Robert Wicklund. Under normal conditions, your attention faces outward, toward the world. But certain triggers, mirrors, cameras, recordings, flip that attention back onto yourself. Suddenly, you're not just a person experiencing life. You're an object being evaluated. And the human brain finds being evaluated, even by itself, deeply uncomfortable. There's also a control problem hiding underneath all of this. In real-time conversation, you get to constantly adjust. You feel awkward, so you shift your posture. Your voice cracks, so you clear your throat and keep going. Life gives you 1,000 tiny chances to self-correct in the moment, and most of those corrections happen so fast you don't even consciously register them. A video removes every single one of those chances. It's frozen. It's final. You're watching a version of yourself that already happened and can no longer be adjusted. And that loss of control is a big part of what makes it feel so exposing. You're not just watching yourself. You're watching yourself with the safety net removed. And here's a strange twist to end on. This discomfort actually fades with repetition. It's the same mere exposure effect working in reverse. People who are on camera constantly, like broadcasters, streamers, and yes, YouTubers, gradually build up familiarity with their real, unflipped face and their real, bone-conducted voice. Over time, the brain updates its internal model. The stranger on screen slowly becomes just you, which means the cringe you feel isn't a permanent verdict on how you look or sound. It's just your brain running an outdated comparison against a version of you that was never fully accurate in the first place. The mirrored face, the bass-boosted voice, the imagined, idealized version living rent-free in your head. The person on the screen was the real one all along. You just weren't used to. And maybe that's the actual unsettling part of this whole thing. Somewhere out there, everyone who has ever met you already knows exactly what you look like and sound like. You're the only person who's been getting the edited version this entire time.